Okay. All right. Good afternoon. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Benefits of Learning Python and the Way Forward. Okay, so before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items. Okay, so you will have the opportunity to get the e-certificate by joining this webinar. Okay, just click on the link provided on our Facebook page. All right, so you may also send in your questions at any time during the session, and we'll try to address them out at the end of today's presentation. Thanks to Puan Hafiza, our program coordinator, DIT, for coming up with the idea for our webinar topic today. So it's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker today, who is going to share with us his thoughts and experiences about today's topic. So he holds a first-class degree of computer science from UITM Shah Alam and a Master of Science in Computer. Our speaker is an experienced trainer with a demonstrated history of working in the industry. He has over 3 years of industry experience in programming at HSBC and never ceased in Berhad. He also has been involved in the field of training and education as a lecturer and trainer for over 6 years at several big institutions such as KLMUC, Lim Kok Wing University, MSCI Consulting in Berhad, which is a Singapore-based company, and now he is currently a lecturer at UITM Pahang. Okay, so apart from that, he is also involved in research and is currently doing a PhD in computer science in the field of machine learning. Okay, thesis writing phase. Am I right, Mr. Zul?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right, so
that is.
I'm very pleased to welcome Mr. Zulkifli bin Halim for our webinar session today. Good morning, Mr. Zulkifli.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me.
It's our pleasure to have you with us today. All right. So, in line with our theme for this month, passion, I would like to share with you what is meant by passion. Passion is when we put more energy into something that is required to do. So it is more than just excitement. What makes us want to know and learn more about Python programming? So why we want to learn? So we will know more throughout the session with Mr. Zulkifli today. So, Mr. Zulkifli, maybe you can tell us a little bit about Python programming based on your experience, and can someone with no coding or programming experience learn Python?
Okay, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to all ladies and
Why?
gentlemen. Thanks to Miss Zurianti as the moderator for today. Thanks to MAIC because inviting me for this program. Okay, so we go to the questions. What is Python? Okay, before we moving further on this program, so we should know what is Python. Okay, for those who are not familiar with programming, they must think about Python is it's about a big snake. It's we call as ular sawu. Okay, in Malay we call it as ular
Okay,
sawu. Okay, so but actually in programming, Python is a general purpose programming, which is same as other languages such as C++, Java, and many more. Okay, Python is interpreted, is object oriented, is also high level programming, and it unique with Python is about the dynamic semantics. Okay, the specialty about the Python. But later on, we'll be talking a little bit on the dynamic semantics. Okay, but it also, okay, Python is also programming language that deal with a high level built-in data structure. Okay, that means if we learn Java and the other language, we should know about the data structure. Okay, so in Python, they have the built-in data structure, which is it enable the data friendly. Okay, in Python is really data friendly. Okay, which is it support the data structure which enables you to store and access data. Okay, they have four. Okay, they have about four built-in data structure in Python, which is the first one is the list, dictionary, tuple, and set. So if you learn about the data structure in Python, you will know these terms. Okay, but it also consists like the others programming language, which is consists of stack, queue, and the others. And also it is known as the world's fastest growing programming language. So as for now, we can for those who are in the programming world, so you will notice that Python is the among the used programming language in the world. Okay, so before we move further on the Python language, we just go through a bit on the history of Python. Okay, so Python, the person who invented Python named as Guido van Rossum. Okay, Guido van Rossum, who is the invented the Python programming language. So Van Rossum, before he working on Python, okay, before he developed the Python language, he is the one who are working with ABC programming language. The ABC programming language might be popular in 80s. Okay, so actually he is loved most of the features in ABC. Okay, but they have some issues. So that's why he come up with the new idea to take some of the syntax in ABC. So that means Python is superseded by the ABC programming language. So it's not developed totally new, but it's superseded from the ABC programming language. So it just take some the syntax of ABC and some of the good features, and also he want to remove any issues on the ABC to produce the Python. So Python, maybe most of you did not heard about where the word Python is come from. So because we know Python is a snake, okay, it's one of the snake. Okay, but actually Van Rossum has the inspirations to give the name of Python from his favorite TV shows. Okay, it's only from the favorite TV shows. Okay, the name of the program is Monty Python's Flying Circus. Okay, I really know I have no idea about that TV shows, but I just do some small reading. It's a comedy TV shows. Okay, so he just got the idea from the TV show, and it give his product is programming language as a Python. So he actually have started his working on Python programming language as at the end of 1989. Okay, 1989. So actually it's quite long journey for the Python, and he had released the first versions of Python in February 1991, which is it called as the version 0.90. That means they have some lag in the first version. Okay, and then he was released the version 1.0 in January 1994. Okay, in January 1994, and then come up with the new version 2.0 on October 2000. So actually it took quite long time to make sure the Python have a matured programming language. And then he has released the version 3.0 on December 2008. So they have a few steps before releasing on all the versions of Python. And the latest version of Python is 3.10. Okay, that is the latest version, which is just released in April 2021, just 2 months ago. Okay, so actually in 1999, Van Rossum, has defined his goal on Python. So he very ambitious with the Python. Okay, so he want to make the Python as an easy and intuitive language, just as powerful as the major programming language. Okay, he want to make same as the Java and so on. And it is open source, as you can find the code free. You can distribute the code. Okay, so anyone can contribute to its development. And also he want to make sure the Python code is understandable as a plain English. That means by read the code, it makes us feel like we read the sentence. Okay, so it also aims it allow the people to develop in the short development times. Okay, so it makes the people can develop the smaller tasks in short development times. Okay, so and now we can see that some internet connection. Is it clear? Is it I'm
Okay.
see on
Yes,
the
yes.
yeah,
I
okay.
can hear your voice. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you, thank you. Okay, so Python language, we go back to the Python, which is Python language can be used in many purposes. Okay, it can be used as a task in data science. Okay, as we know that data science is very popular, the job demand nowadays. So Python also can,
Yes, yes.
by learning Python, also can make you as a data scientist. It help you in terms of data analysis and visualization, and also you can do Python for artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, automation. Okay, automation means write the script to perform some tasks. Okay, I just give the example of automation. For example, you are required to your task is you need to open several website and take out some of the content. Okay, so by having Python, you write as a script. Actually, you can make it automated rather than you click one by one. So once the Python script can execute the page and also can grab the content. Okay, so actually it help you to reduce lot of time. So that's the among the benefit, but actually they have lot of benefit. Later on we will tell more about the benefits. Okay, and Python also allow you to develop web apps. Okay, previously we heard about PHP and then Java and so on. And then actually Python also can do the web apps. And then Python allow you to develop the mobile apps that and also desktop app and another apps also. So the next questions that you asking just now is about, can someone with no coding or programming experience learn Python? Okay, Python is
Yes.
known as very beginner friendly. Okay, so it is very beginner friendly programming. So that means when we see the very beginner friendly, we know that, oh, this language is easy to learn. Okay, we just keep in our mind that Python is easy to learn. Python is not only used by the programmer or a software engineer. So we know programmer and software engineer, if they use the Python, no matter for them. It's not a big issue for them. Okay, but
Yes,
it
yes,
also be
yes.
used by the mathematicians, data analysts, scientists, accountants, network engineers, even uh, this if we look on the overseas, they have teach the students to learn programming using the Python. Okay, so that means
Using
kids
Python
also can learn
language.
the Python.
Okay.
So it refers it showed that Python is easy to learn even though you have no programming or coding experience. Okay, so of course for those who are knowing the programming will be the learning pace for the Python must be will be faster.
I see, I see. I should learn Python one day. Okay, all right. So some said that it is close to human language or natural language. So this make it easy to read and to implement. Maybe you can explain more on the benefits of Python programming language, Mr.
Okay.
Zulkifli?
Okay, so as I mentioned just now, I want to brief further about the benefit. Okay, as I mentioned, the aim, the goals of Van Rossum to make Python um, is easy as we read the English structure. Okay, so Python actually simple and easy to learn. Make it easy to read the Python codes. Even though you are not a programmer, when you read the Python codes, you will have some idea. Oh, this code is about what? Okay, even though maybe you did not know everything about the technical part, but actually when you read the code, you can you know what the purpose of the code. Okay, if we compare with the other language, maybe it's hard to understand for those who don't have any programming skills. Okay, so as other programming language, Python also support modules and packages. But
Okay.
okay, so even the Python have lot of libraries. Okay, so it by supporting the modules and packages, actually it encourages the program modularity and the reuse, code reuse. Okay, so as I mentioned, Python have lot of extensive standard library which are available in source or binary form, and we can get it as a free. Okay, we don't have any charge
It
for
is
that.
free.
Okay, so we can get as a free, so, since the goals of Van Rossum to make sure the Python is open source. So that means you can take it free and distribute it free. Okay, and also it available for major platform. So that's why it mentioned it is freely distributed. Okay, so here I just list 4 benefits. So maybe we can just see the benefit. It could be more than what I have list here, but okay, we just look for. So the first one, it is easy to learn. Okay, so the time needed to learn Python is shorter than for many other languages. Okay, why I mention like that? Why I give that statement? Because um, uh, the 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 syntax, the complexity of the syntax in Python has been reduced. Okay, once you understand faster the programming language, Python especially, that means you can get involved in any actual Python project faster. Okay, so because if you want to learn about Java, it will take much longer time compared to the Python. Okay, and it also as educator, it also easy to teach. Okay,
Easy to teach.
so the teaching workload is smaller than needed by the other language. Okay, the teacher can put more effort on general programming techniques, or we call as we can develop the logically techniques on for programming with less complex syntax. Okay, as I mentioned just now, with complex syntax, I just give one example. Okay, for example, usually in Java or any other programming language, you must put the semicolon at the end of the statement. Okay,
Yes.
but for Python, you may ignore it. You don't worry about this semicolon. Okay,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then, it is easy to understand. Okay, it's easier to understand someone else's code faster if it written in Python. Okay, that means, okay, for example, you are in a project, you just assigned as a member in a project. So that means the project is ongoing and they have the previous staff who have working on that code. So by having Python, it will reduce the time for the new staff to understand the codes. Okay, so once we easy to understand, so easy we are moving forward about the codes.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those who are new with Python, maybe you can try to read any Python code and try to interpret what is the function of the code. And also you can try to compare by reading with the another language, okay? And but the code must perform the same function, so we can see which one is most easier to understand. And then number 4, okay, it is easy to obtain. Okay, actually you can just browse it, you can just find it through Google. Okay, and for example, you are required some of the mathematic function. For example is you are required some of the mathematic function in your programming. So actually you easily to obtain and then install and also deploy the module in your computer. Okay, so it's quite easy. Python is free, it's open, and also it have the huge community. That means if you have some problem in Python, actually they have lot of people can help you. Okay, they have lot of community on Python. Okay,
I see. Okay,
okay,
have a community.
so that's the 4 benefits that I can share with the audience today.
Okay, all right. Thank you for the sharing just now. Okay, so if now we are heading to Python career. So is Python developer a good career, or maybe you can add more on career opportunities in Python, especially in Malaysia? Encik Mr. Go.
Okay, nowadays Python language is among the language that many employer looking for. Okay, so they have the demands on this job. Learning Python actually is open lot of jobs opportunities, and also lots of field can be explored. Okay, for example, you are involved in machine learning, for example. So in machine learning, you can deploy the machine learning itself in many area. You can deploy in finance area, you can deploy in medicine area, you can deploy in any domain area. Okay, so it's not it's good to have the Python skill actually. Okay, Python is a great choice also for web and internet development, such as we have the Django. Django is one of the framework that help people to develop the website. And also the Flask framework also can be used to deploy the machine learning, for example. Okay, it also can be used as the scientific and numeric computing. Okay, for those who are scientific, for those who are scientists, they can use the Python, such as SciPy. Now, the name of the tools that can be used, SciPy, is a collections of packages that purposely doing the mathematics, science, and also engineering. Okay, and also another one is the IPython, which is the an interactive shell that features editing and recording work session. That means if you're familiar with R, so it's quite similar. Okay, and also Jupyter Notebook. So which Jupyter Notebook is the most I use the most of the time. Okay, because in my research I use the Jupyter Notebook, and Jupyter Notebook actually is a open source web application. So for those who are familiar with Jupyter Notebook, you are, to open the Jupyter Notebook, it will open the browser. Okay, we are working the coding through the browser. Okay,
Through the browser.
yeah,
Okay.
through the browser, and then in the notebook. Okay, since the name is notebook, it's not only you can run the code, but actually you can put the notes. Okay, if you refer to any of the example of Python, sometimes they deploy, they develop the codes with the documentation, with the step by step. Okay, and then they share with the others. So by having that document, okay, actually you can read the how to do that, and you can strictly run the program. Okay, if we use another IDE, for example, you need to compile and then you need to run. But by having the Jupyter Notebook, even Google's also offer one we call as I forgot the name. Also offers some kinds of notebook to that means you can use the Google's platform to run your machine learning, for example. Okay, so you can perform the task in Jupyter, such as you can do the data cleaning. Okay, for those who are involved in data, so you can use as a data cleaning and transformation, and then you can use as the statistical modeling. You can use as the data visualization. For example, you have a for example, we took the COVID-19, okay, COVID-19 data. Okay, you can explore that data by using the Jupyter notebook. Okay, you can use the data visualization. They have a lot of library, and it's available as free. Okay, and then Python also great for the education. Okay, it's a good language to teach the programming to beginners, even to the kids. Okay, in the last year, before the MCO, I have done some of several, I call as a training. This the training for those who want to learn about Python. Okay, it have a good audience. Okay, okay. So I just want to highlight that we can teach the people who have no knowledge on Python. No knowledge on programming by using the Python. Yeah.
By
And
using
then
Python language.
and then you can use for the software development and desktop GUI. You can use for the business applications such as the any ERP system, e-commerce system. You also even Python can you can develop games using Python. Okay, which is one of the example I just read from the internet, the Battlefield series. Okay, so it use the Python, and also they have also Python also offer good choices for the website and services. For example, Dropbox. We are knowing most of us know about Dropbox. So Dropbox using the Python, Uber, Pinterest, and so on. Okay. So related in Malaysia, okay, here I just list some of the demand job in Malaysia. This is only my observation in JobStreet portal. Okay. So the jobs that related to Python in Malaysia, you can find as the Python developer or software engineer that use Python, and also the back-end engineer. Okay. Besides that, Python also the job in Python, you can learn details about the Django Python developer. Django is, as I mentioned just now, is a framework for web application. And also you can become as the AI or machine learning engineer. You can become as the data scientist and also big data developer. So the range of salary, this is just from my observation. Okay, maybe I have a wrong facts here. So the salary range from 3,500 as the entry level, up to the 15,000 as the senior level. Okay, I might be wrong with this figure, but it's about the gross range. Okay. Okay, and then I think that's for the demand regarding the jobs in Malaysia.
Yes. Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Zulkifli. Okay, just now you mentioned about Python is a unique language. Okay, so what makes it unique, and is learning Python worth it in this country in year 2021?
Okay, about the uniqueness of Python. So what makes the Python differ from the other language, which is it able to solve the complex problem in less time with fewer lines of code. Okay, for example, in Java, maybe we are required to have 2 or 3 lines, but in Python, we may have 1 line of code. Okay, that's why I mentioned just now, Python have lot of libraries, you can use it. So by using the libraries, actually it reduces your time to do the codes. Okay, and then Python is a high-level language, same as the others. It is a cross-platform. That means you can develop for the Windows, Mac, Linux. Okay, and also it have the huge community. Okay, huge community. That means you can find lot of solutions based on your problem in the community, and also it has the large ecosystem. Okay, as I mentioned, it have lot of libraries, okay, which make your task easier. A lot of frameworks such as we have Django, Flask, and so on, and then a lot of tools actually in Python. Okay, just now I mentioned about data visualization, so you can use one of the library, make it as a tool so that you can visualize your data. um, Python is simplicity made it grow more than the other language. So that means the growing of Python is very fast, and the simple syntax make it unique. Okay, that means for example, when you write the code with block, okay, for example, you have if, else, or looping. So there is no curly bracket for a block. Okay, in Python we just do the indentation. Okay, we must careful with the indentation. So usually the program might be error because of the indentation. Okay, so we are playing about the indentation, but we don't have to have the curly bracket open and close the blocks. Okay, and also there's no need to have the semicolon, as I mentioned. You can put there's no issues on that, but
Okay.
but you don't need to have. Okay, that means you don't need to waste your time to put semicolon for every line. Okay, and there's no need to declare a variable with a data type. Okay, for example, in Java, for example, you want to declare an integer, so you must put the data type integer number. Okay, but in Python, you don't need to have that. You just put as number, a number, and whatever the values that you assign. For example, you assign value 1. Okay, so the compiler will consider that is a integer. Okay, even though you use the same variable, but for example just a number, and then suddenly you change number equals to uh, uh, you put in words 0, for example. So it will change. That is we call as dynamic semantic. Just now I mentioned the earliest session I have mentioned about dynamic semantic. So once you have changed the value, it will change, which it is automatically change the data types. Okay, so so just comparison, as I compare with Java language. Okay, Python might slower than Java. Okay, but it took less time to develop any product or any system. It might be 3 to 5 times shorter. Okay, so by having Pythons, even though it's quite slower, but it's not become a big issues on that. But the times to develop is very short. Okay, even in Python's being high level data types. Okay, this is what I mentioned just now. You don't need to declare the data type on variable declarations because it's dynamic. And the reason, okay, that's the reason. Okay, if we look on the advantage of the Pythons, that's the reason why Python's runtime must work harder compared to Java. Okay, so just to add, in fact, if you have combined the Java and the Python itself, it will make the product better. Okay, this is have been done during my previous company. Okay, I have performed the backend program in Java, and then I have deployed the machine learning module in Python. So we can integrate both of the Java and also Python. So worth learning Python. Okay, for me, it's worth to learn Python to have the Python skill. Okay, as I mentioned previously, they have a lot of job demands. They have lot of project, and they have lot of job opportunity outside. Okay, even you can generate income as a freelancer. Okay, as we know, currently COVID-19 situation is very worse. We cannot go out to find a job. So actually, there's a lot of freelance of a job project offered to any freelancer. Okay, that's why if you have the skills, you can explore, you can be a freelancer. Okay, and also, but before all of the words learning in Python or not, you must develop the passion first. Okay, without the passion,
Correct,
you can't
correct.
go forward. Okay, so that's some
I
of the
agree.
uniqueness of Python.
Yes, okay, to build the passion, right? Build the passion inside. Love programming. Okay. Is there a way for us to cultivate interest or develop passion for Python programming? Or maybe you can relate this with your research or your current job, Mr.
Okay,
Zul?
okay. Thank you, Ms. Zurianti. To be honest, I just start with Python programming in 4 years ago. Okay, 4 years
Okay,
ago,
for you.
I just start with the programming, with the Python programming. But I have experience in other language, Java and so on. So
Mm-hmm.
the reason why I have start with Python because I have start with my PhD. Okay, my area of PhD is machine learning. Okay, machine learning,
Mm-hmm.
and the domain is on the financial. So that means I need to have some uh, data from the finance area, and then I
Mm-hmm.
do the machine learning so that it can predict what will going to happen next. Okay, so I have do some research about which language is the best for the machine learning. Okay, I have looked for the R, I have looked for the Java, and also Python. So so that's the among language that I have looked for. So when I am having the experience with all the languages, so
Mm-hmm.
I feel that Python is the easiest to learn and understand, as I just
Okay.
mentioned in the benefit just now. So
Yes.
for any kinds of functions or modules, I can find out many libraries that can help me to solve many problems. If
Mm-hmm.
I got stuck, I have lot of sources, which is I have the huge community, I have books and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in 2019, I got the chance to work with the company that produce the AI or machine learning products. So
Okay.
to be specific, is the text analytics product. Okay,
Text
which is
analytic
we
products.
have do about the sentiment analysis, the and the others. Okay, so by working in this company, I have better experience and knowledge because I get involved in Pythons. Okay, previously
Mm-hmm.
before I'm working in that company, I know how to produce the machine learning model and perform the training and testing the data, and then I don't know what going to happen next. Okay, is it just
Mm-hmm.
training and test the data, and what's next? So by working in this company, one of my tasks is to deploy the machine learning model into production. So rather than we
Mm-hmm.
just test and train, and then I can use it. I can use it so I have a big picture. Once I know how to deploy the machine learning model, I have a big picture that machine learning or Pythons have a great opportunities. Okay, moving forward. So
Yes.
um, so by deploying the model, so I know which framework is can be used. Okay, so by having the experience also, it helped me better in understanding my research. So here I just want to say that to develop or to cultivate interest or to develop passion for Python, actually
Mm-hmm.
you should have some of the clear objective what you want to explore, because you know
Yes.
that Python is quite huge. There's a lot of application can be done with Python. So you must have clear objective what you want to explore. If you are interested in machine learning, for example, you must eager to dig in deep the insight behind the data. So we have the data. Okay, for example, we have COVID-19 data. Actually, you can learn the Python to give some insight. Okay, so that's why it has been used by the statistician to help them to understand the data. And if you want to produce a website, for example, you should know about the Django's framework, about the Flask framework. So that's the things that you can learn. Okay, and of course, if you want to getting involved in any Python project, you must familiar with the basic programming concept. Okay, if you don't familiar with the programming concept, it's hard for you to involve in machine learning, in the producing website or games. Okay, so so by to have the basic programming concept, actually you can just learn using Java. So in Java, my mistake.
Python.
Using Python,
Python.
yeah. So
Yes.
by having practice some the basic programming concept, you can move further on the Python. Yeah.
Yes.
So I
Okay.
think that's my opinion on that part.
Okay, right. Thank you, Mr. Go. Last but not least. Okay, so this is our final question for today. So, is it possible to master Python in a month? In a month, dalam
In
masa
a month.
sebulan.
Oh.
Yes.
So um, so in a month, okay, let's take a look. That Python application is huge. Okay, it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to master every knowledge in Python. It could be hard. Okay, if especially if we want to do in 1 month. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
I can say yes to that question if we focusing on a certain area. Okay, so for example, okay, if you having the basic knowledge on programming, maybe on the other language, so you can learn faster. Okay, which is you the basic programming, you have the basic, but you just need to understand the syntax. It's only the syntax.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, try to differ the others programming language syntax with the Python syntax. So and then you can, for example, you want to develop a website. Okay, you can focus on for example in Django. So for those who are having the background in programming, so it's possible to master the Django in 1 month. Okay, if you give the focus on that component. Okay, for those who having uh, for those who are new in programming, it might be difficult. Okay, but to master the programming, to master the basic elements or basic components of programming, you I believe it can took a month, even less than a month. Okay, but it
Less
depends
than a
on
month.
the individual. Actually, it depends on how patient you are learning the new skills. So that's my opinion on that questions.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Zulkifli. So, we don't have much time now. Okay, so to conclude this, we can see that Python is a powerful and easy to use programming language. Okay, and making it the perfect language for beginner learners to computer programming. Passion in Python programming can lead us to a greater impact in future and fulfillment for ourselves. So thank you very much, Mr. Zulkifli, for an enlightening and entertaining session today. So this session
Thank
gives
you,
us
thank you.
information and knowledge related to Python programming. We really appreciate you making time in your busy schedule to be with us today. I believe that you are very busy during this period of time. Okay, because you are teaching at the same time you are doing the research in machine learning, if I'm not mistaken. All
Yes.
right. So thank you again for your time, Mr.
Thank you.
Zulkifli.
Thank you inviting
All
me.
right. Okay, all right. Thank you, audience. If you have any questions, feel free to type your questions in our Facebook page. We'll try to reply your message. Okay, that's all for today. Bye. Thank you,
Uh,
Mr. Zulkifli.